Okay, here to talk more about the fund itself, the campaign for our students and what we're trying to do for them is Keith Rosenthal, Director of Advancement, and Sadiqa Suleiman-Hara, who is the Director of Student Activities and Advocacy.
I think I know most folks on the call, and you know me. I'm Sadiqa Suleiman-Hara, and Director of Student Services, oversee student activities and advocacy. Our students are definitely letting us know that this is a more challenging time than ever that they've experienced. And so when we think about the time of the year, the same time last year, and I want to share with you all just an understanding of the scale. You know, we house the CommCare system so that when students are having need, they submit a CommCare report. And so in March 23rd, around that same time from March to May, we would have had probably about 60 reports would have come through. By the end of that same time, we had more than 200. And as of date today, actually not as of date today, as of date 2 weeks ago, because I remember sending Keith all of this data, we had over 800 requests and around need for laptops, and which includes technology, so hotspots, laptops, thinking about food insecurity, housing need. So that gives you a sense of where our students are and what is happening for them. And the other part is we are getting this from every direction. So our students may be submitting a CommCare report. They may be submitting, you know, a help desk ticket through the Ask Us button on the main page. They're also letting their faculty know. So we're getting it from many different directions and really where the student is feeling most comfortable. We're doing our best to meet their need. And so that Student Emergency Assistance Fund has been really critical because the need is greater than a laptop, right? A hotspot or food. Our students are struggling with paying their rent now. They're struggling with getting the groceries for their children and their families, paying those basic needs bills. And Keith, who was just saying, right, we're getting our students and our kids also online, and we have parents who are our students as well. So they're really trying to navigate a landscape that is really heavy in terms of stress and anxiety because it's taking care of themselves and also their families.
I wanted to see if Sadiqa could just, perhaps you could share what's happening at COM and what you're seeing with our students of color.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's really important to note that it's a reflection, right? It's showing you and highlighting and it's showing all of us that racial disparity is very real, right? There is racism in our country that is running rampant, and we're seeing examples of that in killings and deaths and due to racism. And then also thinking about how the pandemic in itself is disproportionately impacting our Latinx, African American, and Indigenous communities. And a big reason is because most of the folks from these communities are essential workers. They're continuing to be on the front lines and working, so then are more exposed, right? And this is a conversation around privilege, right? That's why when we are talking about providing equitable practices and really focusing in on anti-racist practices and dismantling anti-Blackness at the college is because we are seeing a greater need and concern in the society, but drilling it into our campus because this is our sphere of influence, an area that we really all have influence and control in, right? In our own responsibilities, our positions, and the way that we do our work. And so I think when you're talking about what is happening for our students here at our campus, well, if we know that our students of color come from communities that are experiencing the impact of this pandemic, it's also an additional stress, right? The anxiety levels have increased tremendously because of loss of job and also being parts of communities where the pandemic has hit harder. And so it might be a family member that they are having to support while the family member is sick and so has COVID, or that our students know someone who has died from COVID, which we know has happened already, right? And so knowing that that's part of it, they're coming to school even then. And so this is what is within our classrooms. This is who we're interacting with on a day-to-day basis. And so when we're talking about meeting the financial need, that's one way for us within our sphere of influence to bring some sort of stability to our students. It's not going to solve all the problems overnight, and it will support in one way to relieve another level of stress so that they don't have to deal with that. They don't have to think about where is the next rent going to come from? How am I going to access my medical care? Financial support right now makes a world of difference. People are now with $0 in their bank account. I was reading an article the other day. I was just sharing this with Nikisha. That is very real for people. They have $0 now and there's nowhere to turn. So these little, you know, for us, the little contributions that we can make, if it's possible for you, you know, we certainly encourage it because it will make a world of difference for the students. And I can't tell you enough how many times people say, thank you so much. I got this award and I've been able to now provide the diapers for my children, right? I've been able to provide the formula for my children. Now I can go and get groceries. I mean, it's powerful to understand that just one simple $300 award has made a long difference for someone in a matter of months.
Thank you, Sadiqa. I don't think I could have said it any better. And as a community, we respond. And for our students, we are their community. And it's just so important that we rally together during these last few months of the year. Whatever we have going on in our personal lives, our students are our top priority as well. And I would love for you to be involved in the Student Emergency Assistance Fund. The acronym is SEAF. So if you hear the word SEAF being thrown around, that's what we're talking about. And SEAF really is going to enable us to, because I think traditionally out of the foundation, we really talk about scholarships. And that scholarship process really only happens a couple of times in a year. So it'll happen in the spring and in the fall, and that's when the students might get awards from us. But this SEAF fund will allow us to respond on the day-to-day basis on how we can support them in their needs. So please, if you can, respond to the SEAF appeal.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you both very much. Let's give them a round of applause. Great work.